The stars looked different today. Jake Morrison pressed his face against the cold metal window of the observation post and watched the darkness beyond. Something was wrong. The sensors on his small station had been picking up strange readings for 3 days now. Ships were coming. Lots of them. Jake was 28 years old and had been watching the empty space around Earth for 5 years. It was a boring job, but someone had to do it. The human colonies were spread across many worlds, but Earth was still home. Someone had to keep watch for danger. The danger was here now. His computer made a soft beeping sound. Jake turned around and looked at the screen. His heart stopped. Hundreds of red dots filled the display. Each dot was a ship. Each ship was bigger than anything humans had ever built. "Computer, run the scan again," Jake said. His voice shook a little. The computer did as he asked. The result was the same. 312 alien ships were moving toward Earth. They were still far away, but they were coming fast. Jake grabbed his communication device and sent an emergency message to Earth. "This is Station Delta 7. We have a big problem. Alien fleet approaching. I count over 300 ships. They look hostile. Please send help right away." Far away on Earth, the message reached the military command center. General Chris Walker read the message and felt his blood turn cold. He had been waiting for this day for 50 years. The aliens were finally coming to finish what they started. 50 years ago, the aliens had found human colonies and destroyed them. They said humans were too dangerous to be allowed to grow. They forced all humans to stay in their home system. No human ship could leave. No human could explore the stars. The aliens called it a quarantine. But humans had not been sitting still during those 50 years. They had been building. They had been planning. They had been getting ready. General Walker picked up his phone and called the space fleet. "This is Walker. Code red, all ships to battle stations. The aliens are coming." In space near Jupiter, Captain Lisa Hayes got the message on her ship, the UES Vengeance. She was a tough woman with short brown hair and hard eyes. She had joined the Space Navy to fight aliens, and now her chance had come. "All hands, this is the captain," she said over the ship's speakers. "We have enemy ships coming toward Earth. We are going to stop them. I know we are outnumbered, but we are not outfought. Prepare for battle." The crew of the Vengeance were good soldiers. They had trained for this day. They checked their weapons and made sure everything was ready. They knew they might die, but they would die fighting. 2 other human ships joined the Vengeance. The Defiant was commanded by Captain Ben Clark, a young man who had never seen real combat. The Ranger was led by Commander Kate Sullivan, a woman who had lost her brother in the first alien attack 50 years ago. Together, the 3 human ships moved toward the alien fleet. They were small compared to the enemy ships. They looked like insects flying toward a giant beast. But they were brave insects, and they had sharp stings. On the moon, Dr. Alex Turner worked in his secret laboratory. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. For 20 years, he had been building something special, something that might save humanity. "Sir, the aliens are here," his assistant said. "Should we launch the prototype?" Alex looked at his creation. It was beautiful and terrible. It was humanity's greatest achievement and their most dangerous weapon. He had hoped for more time to test it, but time had run out. "Not yet," Alex said. "Let the fleet try first. If they fail, then we use our secret weapon." The alien fleet was led by Admiral Kethvara, a tall creature with blue skin and 4 arms. He had destroyed many worlds and conquered many species. Humans would be easy to defeat. His flagship was called the Eternal Dominion. It was as big as a small city and had enough weapons to destroy a planet. Around it floated hundreds of other ships, each one powerful enough to destroy human cities. "Open communication channels," Admiral Kethvara ordered. "Tell the humans to surrender." His message went out across all radio frequencies. "Humans of the Sol System, you have broken the rules of your quarantine. Your colonies have grown too large. Your technology has become too advanced. Surrender now, and we will make your death quick." The human governments on Earth met in emergency session. President Mary Johnson looked around the table at the faces of world leaders. They all knew what this meant. The aliens had come to wipe out humanity. "What do we do?" asked the leader of the Asian Union. "We fight," President Johnson said simply. "We have been preparing for this day for 50 years. Now we find out if our preparations were enough." Back in space, Captain Hayes received the alien message. She thought about her answer for a long moment. Then she opened a channel back to the alien fleet. This is Captain Lisa Hayes of the United Earth Navy. You are not welcome in our space. Leave now or we will make you leave." The alien admiral laughed when he heard this message. 3 small human ships against his mighty fleet? It was like a mouse threatening an elephant. "Foolish humans," he said to his crew. "They still do not understand their place in the universe. Show them." The alien fleet began to move forward. Their ships were dark and menacing against the stars. Energy weapons charged with deadly power. Missile tubes loaded with planet-killing warheads. The human ships spread out in a battle formation. They were so small compared to the alien vessels. But they did not run away. They did not surrender. They moved forward to meet their enemies. Captain Hayes looked at her crew, good men and women who had volunteered to die for their world. "All stations report ready," her weapons officer said. "Then let's show these aliens what humans are made of," Captain Hayes said. She pressed the button that would start the battle. "All ships attack!" The 3 human ships opened fire. Their weapons were bright against the darkness of space. The first shots of the battle had been fired. The fight for humanity's survival had begun, but this was only the beginning. The real surprise was still waiting, hidden in the shadows near Mars. Something the aliens had never seen before. Something that would change everything. The battle began with fire and light across the darkness of space. Captain Lisa Hayes watched from the bridge of the Vengeance as her ship's weapons struck the alien fleet. Her missiles hit their targets and exploded in bright flashes. For a moment, she felt hope. Then the aliens fired back. The enemy weapons were unlike anything humans had ever seen. Beams of pure energy cut through space like swords of light. They struck the human ships and made the metal glow red-hot. The Vengeance shook as alien fire hit her shields. "Shields down to 70%, called out Lieutenant Tom Bradley from his station. He was young and scared, but he did his job well. "Keep firing," Captain Hayes ordered. "Make every shot count." The human ships moved fast and hit hard. They had spent 50 years learning how to fight a bigger enemy. They used speed and clever tactics instead of raw power. The Vengeance fired her main guns while spinning to avoid enemy fire. Her sister ships did the same. Captain Ben Clark commanded the Defiant with skill beyond his years. His ship was the smallest of the 3, but it was also the fastest. He flew it like a fighter plane, dodging between the massive alien vessels and striking at their weak points. "Direct hit on their command ship," his weapons officer reported with excitement. "Good shooting," Ben replied. "Now find us another target." The Defiant spun around and fired again. This time her weapons found the engine section of an alien cruiser. The enemy ship exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the space around it. Commander Kate Sullivan had waited 50 years for this moment. Her brother had died when the aliens first attacked human colonies. She had joined the Space Navy to get revenge. Now her chance had come. The Ranger was a tough ship built for war. Kate used it like a hammer, smashing into the alien formation with her weapons blazing. She did not care about being clever or careful. She wanted to hurt the aliens as much as possible. "Kate, watch your left side," Captain Hayes warned over the radio. But the warning came too late. 3 alien ships surrounded the Ranger and opened fire at the same time. Their weapons tore through the ship's armor like paper. The Ranger fought back, but she was badly hurt. "Hull breach on Deck 5, Kate's engineer reported. "Life support failing." Kate looked around her bridge. Half her crew was dead or wounded. Her ship was dying, but she was not finished fighting. "All power to weapons," she ordered. "If we're going down, we're taking some of them with us." The Ranger made one final attack run. Her weapons fired continuously until they overheated and stopped working. She rammed into the side of an alien carrier and exploded. The enemy ship went down with her. "Kate's gone," Ben Clark said quietly over the radio. "I know," Captain Hayes replied. Her voice was hard as steel, but inside she felt the pain of losing a friend. "Make her death count." The 2 remaining human ships continued fighting. They had destroyed several alien vessels, but the enemy fleet was still huge. For every alien ship they killed, 10 more took its place. Admiral Kethavara watched the battle from his flagship. He was impressed by the human fighters. They were brave and clever. But bravery was not enough against such odds. "Focus fire on the remaining human ships," he ordered. "End this quickly." 50 alien ships turned their weapons on the Defiant and Vengeance. The space around the human vessels filled with deadly energy beams and missiles. There was nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Captain Ben Clark saw death coming for his ship. "It's been an honor serving with you all," he told his crew over the speakers. The Defiant disappeared in a flash of light brighter than a star. Her brave crew died fighting to the last breath. But their sacrifice was not wasted. In her final moments, the ship's weapons destroyed 2 more alien cruisers. Now only the Vengeance remained. Captain Hayes looked at her tactical display. 1 human ship against nearly 300 aliens. The odds were impossible, but she would not give up. "All weapons, continuous fire," she commanded. "Fight until we can't fight anymore." The Vengeance opened fire with everything she had. Her guns blazed away at the alien fleet while enemy weapons pounded her hull. Piece by piece, the brave ship was being torn apart. "Captain, we've lost main power," Lieutenant Bradley reported. "Weapons are offline." "Then we ram them," Hayes decided. "Set course for their flagship." But before the Vengeance could complete her final attack, alien fire found her engine room. The ship's power core exploded, and the hull cracked like an egg. Captain Hayes and her crew died as heroes, fighting for their world until the very end. Admiral Kethavara felt a moment of respect for the human warriors. They had fought well against impossible odds, but now the path to Earth was clear. His fleet began moving toward the human homeworld. "Scan the system for any remaining human ships," he ordered his crew. "Sir, we detect 1 contact near Mars," his sensor officer reported. "But it's moving strangely, very fast." The Admiral looked at his display screen. A single red dot was approaching from the direction of Mars. It was moving faster than any ship he had ever seen. "What kind of ship moves that fast?" he wondered aloud. "Unknown, sir. We've never seen anything like it." The unknown ship continued its approach. It was alone against the entire alien fleet. Admiral Kethavara almost felt sorry for whoever was aboard. They were flying to their death. "Open a communication channel," he ordered. "Tell them to surrender." The alien fleet sent a message to the approaching ship. "Unknown vessel, you are outnumbered. Surrender now, and you will be treated well." But no answer came back. The human ship just kept coming, moving impossibly fast through space. On Earth, Dr. Alex Turner watched the battle through his telescopes. He saw his brave Navy die fighting against the aliens. He saw the enemy fleet moving toward his world. He knew it was time to act. "Launch the prototype," he ordered his team. "Sir, we haven't finished testing it," his assistant warned. "We don't know if it will work." "It has to work," Alex replied. "It's humanity's only hope now." Deep in a secret base on Mars, the prototype ship received its launch orders. The ship was unlike anything ever built. It used technology that pushed the limits of physics. Its weapons could tear holes in space itself. The ship launched from its hidden base and accelerated toward the alien fleet. Its engines bent space and time, allowing it to move faster than light itself. In minutes, it crossed the distance that had taken the aliens hours to travel. Admiral Kethavara watched the approaching ship with growing concern. It was huge, bigger than his own flagship, and it moved with impossible grace for something so large. Energy readings from the human vessel were beyond anything in his database. "Sir, recommend we open fire immediately," his tactical officer suggested. "Yes," the Admiral agreed. "All ships, target the unknown vessel. Fire at will." 300 alien ships turned their weapons on the single human vessel, enough firepower to destroy a planet focused on one target. The space around the human ship filled with explosions and energy beams. But when the light faded, the human ship was still there, undamaged, unchanged, protected by shields that seemed to bend reality itself. For the first time in his long military career, Admiral Kethavara felt fear. What kind of ship could survive such an attack? What kind of technology did the humans possess? The answer came when the human ship finally spoke. A single transmission across all frequencies. The voice was calm and cold as space itself. "You had your chance to leave." Then the real battle began. The human ship appeared from nowhere like a ghost materializing in space. One moment there was empty darkness. The next moment, a massive vessel hung motionless before the alien fleet. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Captain Ryan Murphy stood on the bridge of the UES Apex and looked at the enemy ship spread out before him. He was 50 years old with gray hair and steady hands. He had been chosen to command humanity's secret weapon because he never lost his nerve in battle. "Sir, all systems are operational," reported Lieutenant Amy Foster from her tactical station. She was young but brilliant, chosen for this mission because her mind could process information faster than any computer. Ryan nodded. "How many enemy ships?" "I count 297, sir. They destroyed our outer fleet." Amy's voice was calm, but her hands gripped her console tightly. "Then Lisa and the others died for nothing," Ryan said quietly. He had known Captain Hayes personally. She had been a good officer and a better friend. "No, sir," Amy replied. "They died to give us time to get here. Their sacrifice matters." Ryan looked around his bridge at the crew who would fight beside him. These were humanity's best and brightest. Each person had been specially chosen and trained for this moment. They knew they carried the future of their species in their hands. The bridge of the Apex was unlike any other ship ever built. Instead of simple controls and displays, it was filled with technology that seemed almost alive. Holographic screens showed three-dimensional images of space around them. The captain's chair was connected directly to the ship's computer systems. "Captain Murphy," came a transmission from the alien flagship. The voice spoke English, but with a strange accent. "I am Admiral Kethvara of the Galactic Council Fleet. Surrender immediately and you will be treated according to military law." Ryan smiled grimly. He had studied the alien admiral for years. Kethvara was known for destroying entire worlds without mercy. His offer of fair treatment was a lie. "Admiral," Ryan replied, "this is Captain Ryan Murphy of the United Earth Navy. You are trespassing in human space. Leave now or face the consequences." The alien admiral's laughter came over the radio. "Captain Murphy, you command one ship. I command nearly 300. Do you really think you can fight us all?" Ryan did not answer immediately. Instead, he walked to his tactical display and looked at the positions of all the enemy ships. His vessel's computers were already calculating firing solutions and battle plans. "Amy, show me our best targets," he said. The display changed to highlight the most important enemy vessels. The alien fleet was arranged in a standard attack formation with their strongest ships in the center. The flagship Eternal Dominion was protected by a ring of battleships and cruisers. "Sir, their flagship is well protected," Amy observed. "But if we hit their command ships first, we can disrupt their coordination." Chief Engineer Danny Wright called from the engine room. "Captain, the exotic matter containment is stable. All weapon systems are ready to fire." Danny was the only person on the ship who truly understood how their weapons worked. The technology was based on theories that most scientists thought were impossible. It drew power from other dimensions and could bend the laws of physics. Dr. Sarah Martinez sat at the science station monitoring their experimental systems. She was worried about what would happen if their weapons failed. The energy levels they were dealing with could tear a hole in space itself. "Captain, I'm reading massive power buildup from the enemy fleet," she reported. "They're preparing to fire everything they have at us." Admiral Kethvara had decided to end the battle quickly. He gave orders for all his ships to attack the human vessel at once. Enough firepower to crack a moon focused on a single target. "All ships open fire," he commanded. The alien fleet unleashed destruction beyond imagination. Energy beams, plasma bolts, and nuclear missiles filled the space around the Apex. The explosions were so bright they could be seen from Earth with the naked eye. The human ship disappeared in a ball of fire and light. For a moment, Admiral Kethvara thought the battle was over. Then his sensors detected something impossible. The human ship was still there, completely undamaged. "How is that possible?" he demanded of his crew. "Unknown, sir. Our weapons struck their target but caused no damage. Their shields appear to operate on principles we don't understand." Ryan Murphy had felt the alien weapon strike his ship, but the Apex's defenses held perfectly. The shield generators used technology that folded space around the ship, making it exist partially in another dimension. Physical weapons could not touch them. "Our turn," Ryan said calmly. "Amy, lock weapons on their flagship." "Locked and ready, sir." "Fire." The Apex opened fire for the first time in anger. Her main weapon was a focused beam of pure energy that drew power from the heart of a star. The beam struck the alien flagship in the center of its hull, The eternal dominion, pride of the alien fleet, split in half like paper being torn. The two pieces of the massive ship tumbled away from each other, trailing fire and debris. Admiral Kethavara barely had time to escape in a small shuttle before his flagship exploded. Direct hit, Amy reported with satisfaction. Enemy flagship destroyed. But the apex was just getting started. Her secondary weapons opened fire on the alien fleet. Each shot was perfectly aimed and devastatingly effective. Where the beams touched enemy ships, metal turned to vapor and armor became useless. The alien commanders tried to organize a response, but their coordination was broken with the loss of their flagship. Ships scattered in all directions, trying to escape the impossible human weapons. Some tried to return fire, but their shots were useless against the Apex's shields. Captain Murphy watched the destruction with no emotion. He took no pleasure in killing, but he would do whatever was necessary to protect his people. The aliens had started this war 50 years ago. Today he was going to finish it. "Sir, enemy fleet is trying to regroup," Amy reported. "Should we pursue?" "No, let them come to us. We'll end this battle right here." The surviving alien ships began to surround the human vessel. They moved carefully now, having seen what happened to their flagship. But they still outnumbered the human ship by hundreds to one. Admiral Kethavara, now commanding from a smaller ship, ordered his forces to attack from all sides at once. If they could overwhelm the human shields with concentrated fire, they might still win. All ships, converge on the human vessel. Fire continuously. Don't give them time to recover. The alien fleet closed in on the apex like a pack of wolves attacking a lone bear. But this bear had claws sharper than anything they had ever seen. Ryan Murphy stood in the center of his bridge and gave the order that would decide the fate of two species. All weapons. Free fire. Show them what humanity can do. The real battle was about to begin, and it would be over in exactly 5 minutes. The universe exploded into violence as the UES Apex unleashed the full fury of human science upon the alien fleet. What happened next would be remembered as the 5-minute war, though those who witnessed it would swear it lasted forever. Captain Ryan Murphy stood calm in the center of chaos. Around him, his bridge crew worked with deadly precision. Lieutenant Amy Foster's fingers danced across her controls as she targeted enemy ships faster than the human eye could follow. Her enhanced neural interface let her think at computer speeds. "Enemy battleship at bearing 270, she called out. "Target acquired," Ryan replied. "Fire!" The Apex's main weapon spoke with a voice like thunder. A beam of concentrated starlight reached across space and touched the alien battleship. The massive vessel simply ceased to exist. Its atoms scattered across 1,000,000 miles of empty space. "Target destroyed," Amy reported. "Next target locked." The alien fleet tried to fight back, but they were fighting a war they could not understand. The human ship moved through their formations like death itself, killing with every shot. Ships that had conquered star systems exploded like fireworks against the night. Chief Engineer Danny Wright monitored the exotic weapon systems from deep inside the Apex. The energy readings on his displays showed power levels that should have been impossible. They were drawing electricity from other dimensions, bending physics in ways that made his head hurt. "Captain, weapon efficiency at 96%, he reported over the intercom. "All systems operating within safe parameters." Safe was a relative term when dealing with technology that could accidentally tear holes in reality. Danny watched his instruments carefully, ready to shut everything down if the power levels became dangerous. Dr. Sarah Martinez tracked the battle from her science station. Her job was to make sure their weapons did not destroy more than just the enemy. The forces they were using could damage space itself if they were not careful. "Captain, quantum field stability is holding," she announced. No dimensional breach detected. The alien commanders could not believe what they were seeing. The human ship fought like something from a nightmare, destroying their most powerful vessels with single shots. Admiral Kethavara, now commanding from a heavy cruiser, tried desperately to organize his forces. "All ships concentrate fire on their engines," he ordered. "If we can disable their movement, we might have a chance." 20 alien ships focused their weapons on the Apex's engine section. Nuclear missiles and plasma cannons struck with the force of small suns. The human ship's shields glowed bright as they absorbed the incredible energy, but they did not fail. "Enemy fire ineffective," Amy reported with cold satisfaction. "Shields holding at full strength." The Apex turned its attention to the ships that had dared to attack it. Her secondary weapons opened fire in a deadly dance of light and death. Each beam found its mark with perfect accuracy. The 20 attacking ships vanished in sequence, destroyed so quickly that their final radio messages overlapped. Captain Ben Rodriguez of the alien heavy cruiser Doombringer watched his squadron die around him. He had fought in 100 battles, but he had never seen destruction like this. The human ship was not just winning, it was massacring them. All ships, retreat pattern 7, he called to his remaining vessels. Fall back and regroup, but there was nowhere to run. The human ship was faster than anything in the alien fleet. It caught the retreating ships and destroyed them one by one. Captain Rodriguez's cruiser was the last to die, torn apart by weapons that turned matter into energy. The alien formation was collapsing. Ships scattered in all directions as their commanders realized the battle was lost. Some tried to surrender, broadcasting pleas for mercy on all radio frequencies. Others attempted desperate ramming attacks, hoping to damage the human ship even if it meant their own destruction. None of it worked. The Apex's shields turned ramming ships into clouds of harmless debris. Her weapons reached out across impossible distances to destroy fleeing vessels, and she showed no mercy to those who begged for their lives. "Sir, enemy fleet strength down to 40% and falling," Amy reported. Her voice remained calm, but her eyes showed the strain of processing so much information so quickly. Ryan nodded grimly. The battle was going exactly as planned, but he took no joy in the slaughter. These aliens had started the war 50 years ago when they destroyed human colonies. Today, humanity was finishing it. Admiral Kethavara realized his fleet was doomed. In 5 minutes of fighting, he had lost more than half his ships. The human vessels seemed unstoppable, protected by shields that could not be broken and armed with weapons that defied understanding. "Sir, what are your orders?" his tactical officer asked. The young alien's voice shook with fear. Kethavara looked at his tactical display. Red symbols showing destroyed ships filled the screen. Only 60 vessels remained of his mighty fleet. In a few more minutes, they would all be gone. "Signal all ships," he decided. "Final attack. All vessels ramming speed. If we cannot defeat them with weapons, we will destroy them with our hulls." It was a desperate plan, but it was all he had left. The surviving alien ships turned toward the human vessel and accelerated to maximum speed. They would crash into the apex and destroy both fleets in a massive explosion. The human ship detected the attack immediately. Amy Foster's enhanced senses picked up the change in enemy movement patterns. She understood what they were planning. "Captain, all enemy ships are converging on our position at maximum acceleration. They're trying to ram us." Ryan considered this for exactly 3 seconds. "Can our shields handle the impact?" "Unknown, sir. That many ships hitting us at once might overload the system." Dr. Martinez looked up from her science station. "Captain, I have an idea. We could use the gravity well generators to stop them before they reach us." The gravity well generators were the Apex's most exotic weapon system. They could create artificial black holes that would crush anything within their effect. But using them was extremely dangerous. One mistake could destroy both fleets and possibly damage space itself. "Do it," Ryan ordered without hesitation. Sarah's hands moved across her controls with practiced skill. The ship's gravity generators came online, drawing power from the same exotic matter that fueled their other weapons. Space began to bend around the apex as artificial gravity fields formed. The charging alien ships suddenly found themselves fighting against forces they could not see. Their hulls groaned as gravity pressed against them from impossible directions. The weaker vessels began to collapse under the pressure. "Gravity well stable," Sarah reported. "Enemy ships caught in field." One by one, the alien ships were crushed by forces beyond their understanding. Their hulls crumpled like paper in giant invisible hands. The proud vessels that had conquered worlds were reduced to small balls of compressed metal. Admiral Kethavara watched his final gambit fail as his own ship began to buckle under the gravitational pressure. He closed his eyes and waited for death, but death did not come. The human ship had deliberately spared his vessel. "Admiral Kethavara," came Captain Murphy's voice over the radio, "you will return to the Galactic Council with a message. The human quarantine is over. We are coming to the stars and we will not be stopped." The battle was over. In exactly 5 minutes, the most powerful fleet in galactic history had been reduced to space debris. Only one alien ship remained intact, saved to carry word of humanity's victory back to their masters. The UES Apex floated alone in space, surrounded by the wreckage of her enemies. Her crew sat in stunned silence as they realized what they had accomplished. They had not just won a battle. They had announced humanity's arrival as a galactic power. Captain Murphy looked at his crew with pride. "Well done, all of you. Set course for Earth, it's time to go home." The war was over. Humanity had won, but the real test was just beginning. The silence after battle was more deafening than the explosions had been. Captain Ryan Murphy stood on the bridge of the UES Apex and surveyed the field of debris that had once been the galaxy's most powerful fleet. Twisted metal and frozen atmosphere drifted past his ship like a graveyard in space. "Damage report," he asked quietly. Lieutenant Amy Foster checked her displays with hands that barely trembled. The neural interface that let her think at computer speeds had taken its toll during the battle. Her eyes were tired, but her voice remained steady. "No damage to report, sir. All systems operating normally. Weapon efficiency remains at optimal levels." It seemed impossible, but it was true. The Apex had destroyed nearly 300 alien warships without taking a single hit. Their shields had turned aside planet-killing weapons like they were raindrops on glass. Dr. Sarah Martinez looked up from her science station with relief. "Captain, quantum field readings are returning to normal. No dimensional breaches detected. We didn't break reality today." That had been her greatest fear during the battle. The weapons they were using drew power from other dimensions and bent the laws of physics in dangerous ways. One mistake could have torn a hole in space itself, destroying both fleets and possibly threatening entire star systems. Chief Engineer Danny Wright's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. "Captain, exotic matter containment is stable. All weapon systems powered down and secure. We can fight again if we need to." Ryan hoped they would not need to. The technology that powered their ship was almost too dangerous to use. They had been lucky today. Next time, they might not be so fortunate. Admiral Kethavara sat alone on the bridge of his damaged cruiser and tried to understand what had happened. His proud fleet had been destroyed by a single human ship in 5 minutes. It defied everything he knew about warfare and technology. His communication officer approached carefully. "Sir, the humans are transmitting a message." Kethavara straightened in his command chair. "Put it through." Captain Murphy's face appeared on the main screen. His expression was calm but firm. "Admiral, your fleet attacked human space without provocation. You came here to destroy us, but instead you have learned that humanity is not as weak as you believed. Your technology is impossible," Kethavara said bitterly. "No species should possess such power. We had 50 years to prepare while you kept us locked in our home system," Ryan replied. "We used that time well. Now you will return to your Galactic Council and tell them the truth. The quarantine is over. Humanity is coming to the stars." Kethavara's ship limped away from the battlefield, carrying news that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. The species that had been dismissed as primitive upstarts had just announced their arrival as a major power. The UES Apex began its journey home to Earth. As they traveled, Ryan called his senior staff to the conference room to discuss what would happen next. The battle was won, but the war for humanity's future was just beginning. "The aliens will not accept this defeat quietly," Dr. Martinez warned. "They may try to build an even larger fleet to attack us." Amy Foster shook her head. "I don't think so. We just proved that numbers don't matter against our technology. They'll be afraid to attack us again." "Maybe," Ryan agreed. "But fear can make people do desperate things."
"We need to be ready for anything." Danny Wright looked troubled.
"Captain, I'm worried about the weapons we're using. The power levels we reached today were close to the theoretical limits. If we push much harder, we might lose control of the exotic matter containment." "What would happen if we lost containment?" Ryan asked. "Best case scenario, the ship explodes. Worst case, we create a black hole that swallows the solar system." The room fell silent as everyone considered that possibility. They had saved humanity today, but at what cost? Their weapons were so powerful they could accidentally destroy their own world. Back on Earth, the news of victory spread quickly. President Mary Johnson addressed the world from the White House, her voice filled with pride and relief. "My fellow humans, today our brave space navy has won a great victory. The alien fleet that came to destroy us has been defeated. We are no longer prisoners in our own solar system. The stars are open to us once again." People celebrated in the streets of every city on Earth. They had been afraid that this day would bring the end of their species. Instead, it had brought the beginning of a new age. Humanity was free to explore the galaxy once more. But not everyone was celebrating. In his secret laboratory on the moon, Dr. Alex Turner studied the battle data with growing concern. The Apex had performed perfectly, but the weapon systems were more dangerous than anyone realized. "Sir, should we begin production of more ships like the Apex?" his assistant asked. Alex shook his head slowly. "No, one ship like this is enough. Maybe too much. We'll keep the Apex as a guardian, but we won't build more unless we have no choice." The galaxy had taken notice of humanity's victory. On a dozen different worlds, alien leaders held emergency meetings to discuss what this meant for the future. Some wanted to attack Earth immediately before the humans could build more super weapons. Others argued for peace and negotiation. The Zephyrian High Command was in chaos. They had sent their best fleet to destroy the humans, and it had been wiped out by a single ship. Minister Sothal paced around the council chamber, his forearms gesturing wildly. "This changes everything," he declared. "We cannot fight technology like this. We must find another way to deal with the humans." "Perhaps we should try diplomacy," suggested Minister Veltar. "If we cannot defeat them, maybe we can work with them." The idea of treating humans as equals was difficult for many aliens to accept. For thousands of years they had seen themselves as the superior species in the galaxy. Now a young race had surpassed them in the most important area of all, the ability to wage war. On Earth, Captain Murphy and the crew of the Apex returned home as heroes. Parades were held in their honor, and medals were awarded for their service. But Ryan felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He commanded the most powerful weapon ever created, and with that power came difficult choices. General Chris Walker met with the Apex crew in a secure briefing room deep underground. "Captain, the government wants to know if we can build more ships like yours." "We can," Ryan replied carefully. "But I'm not sure we should. The technology is extremely dangerous. One accident could destroy a star system. But if we don't build more ships, we'll be vulnerable if the aliens attack again." "Will they attack again?" Amy asked. "We just proved that we can defeat any fleet they send against us." "Maybe," the general admitted. "But we can't take that chance. The Apex will remain on patrol, ready to defend Earth if necessary." Years passed, and the galaxy slowly adjusted to the new reality. Human colonies began to spread to nearby star systems once again. The aliens watched nervously but did not interfere. They had learned the price of challenging humanity's right to exist. The UES Apex became a legend throughout known space. Stories were told of the ghost ship that had destroyed an entire fleet in 5 minutes. Some tales claimed it could destroy planets with a single shot. Others said it could travel through time itself. Captain Murphy grew older but remained at his post, guardian of humanity's greatest secret. He knew that the weapon he commanded could save his species or destroy it. Every day he made the choice to use that power responsibly. The aliens had come to end humanity's story among the stars. Instead, they had helped write its beginning. The quarantine was broken, the galaxy was open, and humanity was free to seek its destiny among the infinite stars. But with great power comes great responsibility. The humans had proven they could fight. Now they had to prove they could do something much harder. They had to prove they could build a better future for all species in the galaxy. The age of human expansion had begun. What happened next would determine whether they became the galaxy's greatest hope or its darkest nightmare. The choice was theirs to make, and they would have to live with the consequences forever.